This is Harish Agastya. At sales kickoffs and at past meetings, I've talked to you about virtual patching as a key sales opportunity for us in 2012. One that we should sell as part of our data center vending machine strategy. It's also a snack that we should sell with our endpoint platform, our endpoint vending machine. We have a great opportunity to sell that snack thanks to a recent vulnerability announcement that Microsoft made last week. On Tuesday, March 13th, Patch Tuesday, Microsoft released a critical security update for called MS-12020. It was rated by Microsoft as critical. It affected all versions of Windows, both servers and desktops. All that the customer needed to do to be vulnerable was to have the remote desktop protocol service on. And most enterprises typically tend to have that service on servers as well as on very often on desktops too. With that service on, if an exploit were to happen in the future that leverages that vulnerability, the attacker could get complete control of the remote environment. So they could install programs, they could view, change, or delete data, they can create new accounts, and worse, this vulnerability is wormable, meaning because it is an unauthenticated network-based vulnerability, it has the opportunity to spread in an unmitigated manner. So therefore, very high risk, and Microsoft wrote in their blog page on this vulnerability announcement that they see a high likelihood of attempts to exploit that vulnerability in the next 30 days. In fact, we've already seen proof of concept exploits come out against this particular vulnerability. So it is a critical vulnerability that we want to educate our customers about. We've seen some news coverage in the media where they're calling it Configure 2.0. We don't want to be alarmist in the market, but yet we want to be the trusted advisor educating our customers about how, with Trend Micro virtual patching, they can shield themselves from this vulnerability as well as future such vulnerabilities. So this vulnerability the customer should consider in the context of other such critical vulnerabilities. In 2010, according to the National Vulnerability Database, there were almost 2,100 such critical software vulnerabilities across the entire enterprise software stack. 2,095 or 2,100 per year is 8 critical alerts every day. So that's a whopping number, not just minor vulnerabilities. We're talking 8 critical vulnerabilities that typically require the IT organization to drop everything and patch right away. At that type of rate, you simply cannot keep up with patching. You're going to be patching the entire time. In fact, Information Week did a strategic security survey, and they found out that enterprises spend a third of their time patching. So if you're spending a third of your IT time patching, then that's a big portion of your IT budget. And this existing patch management process isn't working either, because often you're not able to deploy the patch right away, or if you're deploying it right away, you're spending so much money doing emergency patching that the whole process is not very effective. So the same survey shows that 3/4 of all enterprises said that their existing process for patch management was not effective. So that's the problem with patch management. And now Trend Micro customers, on the other hand, are immediately shielded from that particular vulnerability, because as part of our partnership with Microsoft, and we were able to receive advanced information about the vulnerability, and the same day as when the vulnerability was announced, Trend Micro had a deep security update available that would help customers shield against that vulnerability immediately. So same day coverage. And for IDF, Intrusion Defense Firewall, for Office Scan customers, the security update followed the next day. So these updates provided immediate vulnerability shielding for customers, allowing them to roll out the actual Windows patch at a convenient time after they had done all of their testing on that particular patch. So that's the value of virtual patching, which we were able to demonstrate to our customers right away. So definitely something we want to highlight in our customer conversations immediately. So deep security, as you know, provides virtual patching with the deep packet inspection and firewall modules. Our modular architecture allows the customer to license just those modules or license those modules in addition to any of the other modules of deep security. It provides coverage across a range of operating systems, physical operating systems, as well as virtual and cloud systems as well. Protection is delivered via one integrated agent and or a virtual appliance for a VMware hypervisor platform. For Office Scan customers, there is a very easy mechanism whereby the customer can download the IDF plugin via the internet from the Active Update server, and the IDF plugin can integrate seamlessly into the Office Scan console. So for a customer that has Office Scan but doesn't have IDF, there is an easy process by which they could add the IDF plugin and leverage this virtual patching protection. And the important to know that this protection extends beyond Windows vulnerabilities. So across Trend Micro virtual patching from Deep Security and Office Scan IDF, we can shield over 100 server and desktop applications, as the list here shows. So again, coming back to this particular opportunity, Microsoft has put out a vulnerability update last week. It takes organizations a given amount of time. They can't just drop everything and install the patch, because they often have to test that patch, and that takes time. There are already proof of concept exploits. The customer can't afford to take on the added risk of leaving themselves vulnerable from this particular vulnerability. Deep Security virtual patching through Deep Security and Office Scan IDF can provide immediate vulnerability shielding for them, allowing them to deploy that patch at their own pace. Right? So happy selling, take advantages. There is an entire Red Alert program we've put together in terms of demand generation templates, sales emails, and other assets that we want you to leverage in terms of being able to communicate to your customers and prospects about how Trend Micro can help protect them from this. Happy selling. We'll be in touch with you at a future time.